What is lifestyle coaching and why should you care? Well, today we're going to be answering those questions and much more so that by the end of the video, you can decide for yourself if this is a better approach for you than what you're currently doing. It probably is. Now, to be clear, lifestyle fitness coaching is just the name that I came up with to describe my approach and what I do. And it just seemed to make the most sense to me. But ultimately, it's an approach to fitness and, well, much more, but that's going to be a later video. That just looks to make the process of seeing progress and results as consistent, intuitive, and complementary to the rest of your life as possible. Finding a way to accomplish all of our goals, but without having to run in 10 different directions to accomplish each of those individually, right? We want to instead see if we can line everything up in a way that by accomplishing one, I'm setting myself up to accomplish the next and the next and the next. Now, I haven't always trained people this way. I have over 7,000 hours of in-person coaching on top of additional online coaching. And I've worked with everyone from 10 to 12-year-olds with special needs all the way up to 80-year-olds who need to relearn how to walk. And so everything about this approach, everything about how I work with clients, because it is extremely nuanced to each person's individual life and their goals, has just come through hard-won effort with working with real clients in person and just realizing this, let's call it a traditional fitness approach, which is how most people treat fitness. It just doesn't work for most people. It's not seamless. It leads to an entire host of new issues, and it's what I believe is the exact reason that most people don't maintain it. Except for your most dedicated, most extreme people, everyone can go and do a workout plan and a diet or whatever and lose a couple pounds. But the issue is that most people can't maintain that for the rest of their life. It's a thing they did. And then they decide it's either not worth keeping to continue because the amount of results they got wasn't substantial enough, or it just wasn't sustainable to their normal life. And honestly, that makes sense, because if we really take the time to look at how most people approach fitness, right, with this workout plan, a diet, a cardio plan, whatever, and it's pass or fail. You either do it or you don't, right? You hire a coach and what do? They throw a custom plan at you. It front loads all the effort onto you to figure out how to integrate that into your life. Coach is just kind of standing there with their hands open like, well, if you do it, you'll get the results you want. If you follow the plan, if you do this. That's not really the problem. We know that. We know that movement is good for us. We know that eating healthier organic foods is good for us. That was never the problem. The issue is, how do I integrate that with my life? Because my life isn't your life and your life isn't mine or anyone else's. That's really the problem with traditional fitness, is we have to realize this wasn't designed for normal people, right? In the 60s and stuff, it was for professional athletes and bodybuilders. Those are the only people that worked out for fun, because everyone else they had active lifestyles. They were already eating ingredients-based households in the 50s and the 60s. They weren't eating processed crap. They weren't sitting in front of a TV all day. They were already very active because that was the lifestyle they had, right? So you don't have a health problem, you have a lifestyle problem. You wouldn't have that health problem if you moved more and if you ate better, and if you did all these things, right? But you don't, so you do. So that's why we have the problem. And so medications and little workout routines and diets that only last anything less than our entire life doesn't work, because we immediately go back to doing all the things we did that created the problems in the first place. We stop eating enough of the right things and we start feeling worse. We stop moving, we start putting on body weight again. This is the reason most traditional fitness plans and approaches don't work for most people, is because the moment they stop, well, they get all their problems back again because they return to their old lifestyle. Okay, so you don't have a health problem, you have a lifestyle problem. And that's what we're focused on improving, is your lifestyle. Some of the biggest issues I see when it comes to this traditional approach to fitness is, people say I don't have enough time, right? Because like I said, I've worked with a lot of clients. And so I've heard all the reasons and the excuses when people come in. And in the beginning, that's how I viewed it, was, okay, well, you just don't want it bad enough. You're not dedicated enough, because if you do this, you'll get what you want, but you're not doing it, so you must not want it that bad, right? And that's a very selfish, one-sided approach to looking at the problem. It's not instilling any amount of empathy to understanding why are they struggling to maintain these things, because that's really the issue, is why is completing this step, following this meal plan, why is showing up for a workout, why is this so hard for them? And that's really where the problem lies, in what I call the kitchen drawer effect. And this is what I consider to be the biggest problem with traditional fitness approach, is you already have a very busy, very full, chaotic life. And then we're trying to take that, and without integrating it at all, We're trying to take all these new fitness tasks, right? Meal planning, meal prepping, working out, cardio, all these things. We're trying to take this and we're trying to cram it into your already full life. And it's like that kitchen drawer. We keep adding things to it. And eventually you need something from that drawer and you go to open it. And what happens? It gets jammed or locked up and you get frustrated and rip out the last thing you put in there, because that's probably the thing that's holding it up, right? And keeping it from doing what you need is the last thing you crammed in there. And for most people, what is that? It's fitness, right? And because we didn't take the time to actually integrate it into our life and make each thing connect to the next and make it work with your life instead of against it, you have this jammed kitchen drawer and you throw it out. You stop going to the gym on Tuesdays after work. You stop going and getting your walks because it's hot in the afternoon. You don't have time and you have to run and get the kids and whatever it is. It's not about saying that you're making excuses or anything like that. We didn't find a way to make it fit. We just shoved it in there and hoped for the best and hoped it would solve the problem. It doesn't, it won't, it didn't, okay? So we need strategies. We need overarching rules and plans to our life that keep everything moving progressively, right? That's what we want, is forward progression consistently, not 3-month burst and then 6-month breaks of falling backwards and getting worse. Standard fitness approach, if mid-40s client comes on, they get a little body fat, they want to lose some weight, whatever it is. What that's typically gonna look like is handing them a workout, 3 to 5 days a week, giving them a diet plan, putting them in a calorie deficit. Even if it is just more macro-based, you're starting to tell them what they do eat and what they don't eat. And it's creating this restrictive mindset. So they get a workout routine, they get a diet plan, they get a cardio plan. And then it really just becomes coach saying, did you do the things? And you saying yes or no. And then coach saying, well, did you do the things? And that just kind of becomes the coaching process. And once again, I coached that way. I was a part of this. I've been that coach that was really just holding the bar up over their head saying, well, if you just reach it, you won't have these problems, right? And after working with enough people and obviously caring very heavily about these people and wanting them to see progress and see results and seeing what started to improve some people's chances of seeing those results, and integrating these things more on with their life and taking the time to do that, I started seeing people see so much progress and so many results, and even echoing that in my own life as I moved out of the gym and I'm running my business from home and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't want to go to be in the gym all day, every day. I don't want to be doing 1.5 hour workouts. How do I make this work better for me? This traditional approach is tacking extra things to your to-do list every day. Whereas a lifestyle approach is more about trying to find ways to integrate them. So an example of that is I got a client who works from home, working on the computer and phone calls all day. And that's just their 9 to 5. Originally, we were doing a 30-minute walk every day at the end of his day. So we were using that kitchen drawer approach. We were taking it, we're tacking it on to the end of his day. So the end of his day, when he's the most fatigued, the most exhausted, and wants to relax and find excuses the most, is when I'm making him do extra things. And we're saying, well, if you care enough, you'll do it. And it worked for a little bit, but then the inconsistencies came in, and I, the coach, had to start saying, okay, like, how can I lower these barriers of entry for him so that he wants to do these things? How can I make these things more accessible for him so that we can integrate these habits and these routines? What we found was, it's about finding, like I said, how do I accomplish more things all at one time? How do I make one win connect to the next? So, we do that by defining what are things that are important to him, what are the life goals he has that are most important. And so some of those things are like, he wants to improve his hormone production. He's got, low testosterone. He wants to make more time to play with his dogs and all these other things. We need to get more steps, right? So how can we do that at one time instead of just making this massive to-do list that happens at the end of his day, which is what most people do. Say, hey, I got to go for a walk, then I got to walk the dogs, then I got to do this, then I got to do that. We don't want to do that, right? So instead, we look in his day and say, where do you have little 5 to 10 minute windows, right? Oh, I get an hour lunch, and I could get up and walk around for 3 to 5 minutes every couple hours just to stretch my legs. I'm like, okay, awesome. So that's what we started doing, is 2 to 3 times a day. He has these little 5-minute breaks where he gets up, takes the dog in the backyard, tosses the ball for him. He's getting some extra steps. He's playing with the dog. He's getting vitamin D, because after about 10 minutes of direct sun contact a day, you've gotten your entire day's dosage of vitamin D, which we need for energy and hormone regulation. So huge benefits there, helping the testosterone, helping his mood and his energy. right? We're getting all these things all of a sudden. We're getting the steps, we're getting the vitamin D, we're getting the intentional time playing with our dog, with our pet. And now, because he's doing this, he's getting 300 to 500 extra steps every time he does this, and he's just creating a habit of looking for little windows of opportunities to get something. And by the end of the day, he only needs to do a 10-minute walk. That's so much easier to show up for as opposed to the 30 or 40 minutes. It's about finding tiny ways and little pockets in our day and tiny adjustments we can make that can help us reach a lot of goals instead of just one at a time. Because if we use the traditional fitness approach and said, okay, end of your day, go to the gym and walk on the treadmill and incline for 35 minutes, right? That's all he's accomplishing in that 35 minutes is just that cardio. With our lifestyle approach, he's changing his identity. He's becoming someone that looks for opportunities to move, that looks for opportunities to accomplish more, to move towards all of his goals at one time instead of just one at a time. And that's really what we're trying to do is say, how can I win more? How can I accomplish more of my things? You know, if I take the walking and the sun and the vitamin D and the hormones and the time with my animal, and I've got them all lined up. So by accomplishing one, I'm knocking down all of them, right? We're setting up dominoes. And that's it. That's the crux of this approach is how can I align all of the most important things in my life so that when I accomplish one, I'm knocking down 5 other goals at the same time. Another big problem with the traditional fitness approach is we have, just as humans, we have a really bad habit of biting off way more than we can chew. Most people will go from not exercising at all, not eating healthy at all, not doing any of these things to, I'm gonna follow a 6-day workout plan, I'm gonna eat a 6-day or 7-day meal plan, super restrictive diet, I'm gonna start walking for an hour. What is this ridiculous goal out of nowhere? You've never done these things, and now you're trying to crank everything to a 10 and you think you can maintain that, and you can't. So what happens? You give up or you fall off or for whatever reason, and now we have this massive loss. We have this huge negative connotation because we failed something. And now to win, we have to overcome that feeling of loss. It creates all kinds of issues for us for trying to come back and try again another time because it was such a substantial loss and it felt so bad and we just felt like crap after, especially because we talked it all up to everyone. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then 2 weeks later, like, oh, how's it going? You're like, I'm not really doing it anymore. I promise you, if we can just learn to make smaller goals, right? And I do not want to undersell how small of a goal I'm talking about, right? For instance, for myself, I was someone a couple months ago, I wanted to read more. I wanted to be a person that knew more about specific topics, but if I don't read, I don't do that. And like everyone else, in the beginning, I made goals of I'm gonna read an hour a day, Monday through Friday. Yeah, that didn't maintain long. Either I didn't have time because I didn't plan for it, or I just didn't want to do it, or I was stressed out, or whatever. I could always find excuses for why I didn't read that day. And that's all it takes is breaking that chain a couple times, and then I'm never coming back to it. The book sits on the shelf, I don't touch it. Lifestyle approach, lower the goal, make it small, right? There's no point in having high bars if you can't reach them. The point of a bar is to reach it and to get you to the next bar, right? So we need smaller wins, smaller goals that are bite-sized and seamless and can be integrated into my day. So now my goal is every day when I walk, I bring my book and I read along the way. So whether I get a page or 10 pages or a chapter, it doesn't matter. I just need to read something, even if it's just one word. I have no reason to skip it. I have to do that walk. I have to go train that client. So I can read at least one word and that's it. And so I haven't missed a day reading a book in the last 4 months because the bar is so low. Even on my worst day where I could give 2 craps and I have no energy, no focus, I can still read that one word and know that I took a step that day. And that's the point. That's it. We just need to create routines and habits and lifestyles to where you never stop making progress on your goal, where you take a step every day for the last 10 years. When is the last time you can say that you made that much progress that consistently at any point in your life? Right? Let's lower the bar even further. When's the last time you grew consistently for 2 months, for 1 month, without missing a day, without skipping? Most people can't say they've done that. But with this approach, we can, because we're keeping it really, really small. And we're tying those wins together. So every single day, even if it's just one step, you never stop moving towards all your goals. So then when we combine that approach with aligning all of our goals so that accomplishing one accomplishes the next, well, Now we've got the secret recipe, right? We're just knocking things down left and right. We're always losing weight. We're always getting stronger. We're always making these strides. And then you start realizing, wait, I can take this approach and apply it to everything. I can apply it to my personal life, my business, right? I just need to identify the things I care about and then start lining everything up with those things so that when I knock one domino down, it knocks all the dominoes down. I'm sure I've rambled enough, and the general idea of this video today was to just introduce the idea to you, let you know that there is another way, there is another approach, and if this is something that seems more amenable to you, I'm going to be making so many more videos about this idea and about these concepts and these approaches. It's something I've been working on and developing for a while now with my current clients in my own life, and it's something we're really passionate about and we believe a lot in, and I think it can help most people because, like I said, most people are doing this approach that was never designed for lifestyle clients, for normal people. They were designed for dedicated athletes and professional bodybuilders, because it's not that the approach doesn't work, it's just that it doesn't work well for you because it wasn't designed for you, right? It's not a lifestyle approach. It's not nuanced. It's not intuitive to you, your problems, your goals, your life. It was designed for this really specific type of person and a really specific type of goal. So it's not about this is the right approach and this is the wrong one, or this is good and this is bad. Get rid of those absolutes. It's not about right and wrong. It's just about right for you. So that's what we're looking for, is what's the best option for you? What's the best approach for you and your goals in your life? So if this helps you, if this is useful for you, if you look at this and you're like, yes, Chris, I want more of this. Like I said, drop the comments, drop the likes, subscribe. The videos are coming. I'm really excited to talk more and share more about this with you guys. Have a great day.